Chances are, if you've played Sea of Thieves, this has happened to you. Recently, my friends and I have been hunting megalodons in Sea of Thieves, hoping to one day find the shredded ghost. After many hours of doing research on megalodons in Sea of Thieves, and many more spent on the seas, we have learned everything that we need to know about megalodons. We wanted to share this information with you so that way you too can become an ultimate megalodon hunter. And if there's anything that you think we missed, or if you have any tips and tricks of your own, please leave a comment so that way you can help out others. Alright, let's get to the video now. First, let's talk about Doik. Doik is a plant-based cookie dough that is low in sugar and has 3 times more protein than the leading dough. And they currently have 4 different flavors. You can either eat it raw, or you can bake it into cookies. Use code EVERYTHINGLABS to get 10% off your order. Link in the description. Okay, so we essentially have 2 categories that we can break the megalodons down into. We have random encounters and ancient megalodons. There are 5 different random encounter megalodons that you can encounter. The first one is the hungering one. The hungering one can be distinguished by its blue body and blue fins. Next up, we have the ancient terror, which can be distinguished by its yellowish green body and yellow fins. Next up, we have the shadow maw, which can be distinguished by its grayish black body with bright red fins. Then we have the crested queen, which is a dark purple megalodon with purple fins. For the final random encounter megalodon, we have the rarest one of all, which is the shrouded ghost. The shrouded ghost, it has a whitish gray body and peach-colored fins. Now on to the ancient megalodons. First up, we have the feared red maw. This megalodon has a reddish-gray body with orange accents, and parts of it may appear to be on fire. Next up, we have the barnacle dread. This megalodon has a purplish-gray body with coral armor surrounding it. Okay, let's first talk about the random encounter megalodons. First, they will only spawn in open water. This means that you have to be far enough away from outposts, islands, sea posts, or shipwrecks. This also works in reverse. So if you're in a megalodon encounter and you get too close to an outpost, island, sea post, or shipwreck, the megalodon will stop chasing you. However, the megalodon will remain in the area. Next, let's talk about the server spawn limit. There is a server-wide spawn limit that only allows 1 random encounter megalodon to be active at once. This spawn limit is not dependent on how many ships are in the game. For example, if there are 8 different ships on the server, only 1 megalodon that is a random encounter will be able to spawn. Next, each ship has its own spawn timer. This spawn timer is 1 hour. This means that after 1 hour of gameplay, there is a chance for a megalodon to spawn on your ship. You may play for more than an hour and not get a megalodon spawn. This is because of the server-wide spawn limit. These coincide with each other. After 1 hour, there is only a chance for a megalodon to spawn, and if another random megalodon has spawned on another player's ship, there will not be a spawn on yours. You will know that a megalodon is about to spawn on you when certain music starts to play. The megalodons have a certain song that starts playing, and it sounds like this. The shrouded ghost has a different theme music that will play, and it sounds like this. If you hear either of these themes while sailing in the open seas, it's best to raise your sails if you are looking to fight the megalodon. Each random meg that spawns will have a different personality. This personality is not determined by which megalodon spawns. Some megalodons will be passive and will not attack until provoked. Others will be extremely aggressive and will attack you non-stop. There are speculated spawn rates for each megalodon. The hungering one has a speculated spawn rate of 40%. The crested queen has a spawn rate of 30%. The shadow maw has a spawn rate of 20%. The ancient terror has a spawn rate of 9.98%. The shrouded ghost has the smallest spawn rate with a 0.02% spawn. So now let's talk about the random encounter fights. The difficulty for these fights is dependent on the ship, not the player count. For example, if you're on a galleon with only 2 people, the Megalodon will spawn with the same amount of health as if there were 4 people on the galleon. And since the difficulty is based off of ships and not player count, we can break it down into how many cannonball hits it takes on each ship to take down a Megalodon. For a sloop, it's about 10 to 13 hits. A brigantine is about 15 to 18. And a galleon is 30 to 32 hits. The amount of damage done per hit by the Megalodon also scales with the ship. The sloop will take the least amount of damage per hit, while the galleon will take the most. A Megalodon's bite attack can do anywhere from 2 to 5 holes in your ship. The random encounter mags only have one attack. This attack happens when the Megalodon charges at your boat. It will finish the charge with a massive bite on your boat. This bite can send you flying and do massive damage to you. There is a music cue that starts when the Megalodon starts its charge. Let's listen in. You can interrupt a Megalodon's charge attack by dealing enough damage to it. This scales per ship. It takes about 2 cannonballs on a sloop to interrupt the charge, 4 on a brig, and 6 on a galleon. Other weapons can also be used to deal damage during the charge, such as the hunting spear and the Dark Tide's trident. You may also use any of the other weapons, such as like the pistol and sniper, fighting the Megalodon. If you turn the wheel in the direction that the Megalodon is swimming, you'll be able to get significantly more shots on it. Here's a demonstration of this from one of our streams.
You could probably use it in like a contextual way. That's
one fun thing you can do with the Megs is hit it with the harpoon on the front of your ship and go for a ride. Alright, now let's talk about the ancient Megalodons, and we'll start with the feared red maw. There are a few things to note. First, this Megalodon spawns randomly on the map. Only one ancient Megalodon can spawn at a time. This spawn does not affect other Megalodons. Lastly, if you are Hunter's Call Emissary 5, you will be able to see the symbols of the ancient Megalodons on the map. The feared red maw has a fire symbol, and the Barnacle Dread has a lightning symbol. Fear Red Maw has 2 different ways they can attack you. First, its regular charge and bite deals additional fire damage.
Alright, this fight is even more toxic when it's foggy.
in the fog.
Secondly, it has an explosion that mimics that of a gunpowder keg. This explosion occurs after the Fear Red Maw has taken enough damage. Think of it as like a pressure system. The more you damage it, the more the pressure builds up. And eventually that pressure has to go somewhere, and it explodes. You will know this explosion comes because you will hear like a high-pitched noise, almost as though it's mimicking a tea kettle.
And it mostly taketh.
And as far as health goes, the same rules as the random encounter makes also apply to the ancient Megalodons. The more players you have on your ship, the more damage you'll have to do. The Barnacle Dread is the second of the ancient Megalodons. There are a few things to note about this one. First, its bite attack is normal and does not have any extra effects.
There is some basics. I mean, just like anything, right? Can't.
Secondly, the Barnacle Dread can spawn ocean crawlers on your ship.
It just depends on who's there to teach them. And then you got some dudes who just never needed to get taught. Obviously, there's some of those out there, but...
Lastly, the Barnacle Dread is covered in several different armor plates. You can break these armor plates by repeatedly hitting each armor plate with cannonballs or other damaging items. Once these plates are broken, it will create weak spots on the Megalodon. These will deal extra damage to it. Finally, let's quickly talk about the loot pool for the Megalodons. Random encounter megs will drop 4 to 6 pieces of meg meat and 5 to 12 random treasures. These treasures can range anywhere from treasure chests to mermaid gems to skulls. The ancient Megalodons will drop also 4 to 6 pieces of meg meat and an assortment of Hunter's Call loot. These will range from megalodon teeth, megalodon scales, and even hunting and bait crates. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If we missed anything, or if you have any other tips and tricks, please let us know in the comment. And always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.
I'm not sure what to do with this. How do I even... What do I do about this? Do. He flipped it back up.